Do I look dead? I don't think I do. Let's film this before my headache comes back. Hey guys, fun fact, I'm sick. This is like the third video that I'm filming while I'm sick. I'm pretty sure that the last video that I filmed, I was sick. I'm allergic to YouTube apparently. It's not COVID, by the way. Well, I don't know if it's COVID, I haven't been tested, but it's not any symptoms of COVID. I think it's some kind of infection on my wisdom teeth, but it's getting better. I say that it's getting better as I literally 2 hours ago I was dying of a headache, but I took a painkiller, so I'm all good now. Aside from me almost dying 2 hours ago, I'm making a video about Jenny Humphrey because everybody wanted a video about Jenny Humphrey. Well, 2 people wanted a video on Jenny Humphrey, but I care for those 2 people's opinions, so I'm making a video about her. I think she's a very interesting character that I was severely underestimated and wronged by the writers and the fans as well. So I think it's just an interesting character to explore, so that's what I'm gonna be doing today. So just like in every video, I'm gonna be going through every season, the things that happened relating to Jenny, and if you want to skip, I'll give you a time so you can skip. So oh, my name is Sophia, by the way. I hope you enjoy this video and subscribe. I always forget to tell people to subscribe, but that's like a given. I don't have to say that, right? So Jenny, first time being introduced, she's a very likable character. She's someone that is easy to relate to and to root for. A girl whose only desire is to be liked by Blair and be part of her clique, and making her do anything to gain her approval, such as making the invitations for the Kiss on the Lips party in exchange for an invitation. In that party, she was sexually assaulted by Chuck, who got a very deserved punch by Dan, Jenny's brother. She becomes friends with Serena's little brother Eric, who confides in her about his attempted. Later, she is invited to Blair's annual sleepover, where she's pressured to do things she doesn't exactly want to do, but since she's looking for approval from Blair. At the end of their Truth and Dare game, Jenny managed to beat Blair at her own game and received a little respect from her. She sneaked into the mask ball because Blair forbade her to go for some reason. At the ball, she trades masks with Serena, making Nate mistake Jenny for Serena. He admits his feelings and kisses Jenny before she could run away. In the next episode, she tells Blair what happened, and Blair fires her as her minion. Jenny walks on Jan and Rufus discussing Rufus and Allison's divorce, which is Jenny's parents. And Jenny goes over to her mom's place to tell her to come home. Jenny attends the debutante ball instead of going to her mom's art gallery. While at the ball, Blair's dress gets ripped and asks or demand Jenny to fix it in exchange for forgiveness. Jenny accepts, resulting in her missing the gallery altogether. Her mom is visibly pissed and lectures her on thinking about the kind of person she's becoming. She overhears a conversation between Dan and Serena about Blair sleeping with both Nate and Chuck. The next day, the rumor was known by everyone at school, and Jenny confirms it to Nate. Blair's minions take over the school and ask Jenny to be the new Blair. Jenny finds herself struggling as a new queen bee, and Nate warns her about being corrupted by the minions. Jenny is still a dress from Hazel's mom. She's one of the minions. The Hazel, not the mom, to wear for her birthday party. Meanwhile, Blair, pretending to be Jenny's friend, and Rufus are planning a party to embarrass Jenny. Over there, it's revealed that she stole the dress, and even though the girls get angry, they still forgive her instead of giving Blair the throne back. She starts dating Asher, who is later revealed to be gay and was only using Jenny. Blair and Eric announce at a party Asher's sexuality, and the girls kicked Jenny out for lying about sleeping with Asher. At the end of the season, she gets the opportunity for a summer fashion internship with Blair's mom, Eleanor, at Eleanor's Design, and this is like a huge thing for her because fashion is her passion, and she aspires to be a fashion designer. In season 2, after spending the entire summer at an internship at Waldorf Designs, Jenny is fired, but it's okay because she's hired literally within the same day. When school begins, Jenny starts developing anxiety and starts skipping school to be at the atelier in fear of being targeted by Blair and her minions. Blair quickly gets on hold of that and informs Rufus to try and stop it. When Rufus talks to Jenny, she tells him she's not going back to school. Originally, he didn't like the idea, but he eventually changed his mind and agreed to her to be homeschooled. Later, Nate moves into their place as soon as Dan and Jenny realize he's having some money problems, and Jenny's starting to get a bit more responsibility at Waldorf Designs. She meets and becomes friends with Agnes, which is one of the models. She starts convincing Jenny to quit working there because Eleanor was taking advantage of her designs and Jenny should start working on her own clothing line. Jenny eventually quits after Eleanor is disappointed at Jenny for the work she had prepared for. She hangs out with Agnes later that day and is pressured to take her shirt off while Agnes' boyfriend is taking pics of them. Agnes plans to crash an event honoring Lily and Bart and try to get some financial support for their line. Although Jenny is unsure at first, she eventually changes her mind. They succeed, but Rufus is mad and he even tries to get her arrested. She moves out to live with Agnes and Dan kicks Nate out when he finds out that they kissed. She becomes incredibly annoyed at Agnes for her lack of effort and work towards their future of their line. When Agnes blows a very important meeting, Jenny steals her contact list and starts working on her back, and Agnes quickly finds out and she kicks her out of her apartment, and obviously their friendship ends. Jenny says at the art gallery she meets a potential investor who suggests her to get emancipated. Lily and Bart find out Eric was letting Jenny stay in the penthouse. Lily finds the emancipation papers and immediately informs Rufus. He asks Jenny if that's what she really wanted, he'll do it. But Jenny crumbles the papers and he tells her he doesn't want her to not be his daughter. At Thanksgiving, Vanessa finds a letter from Nate confessing his feelings to Jenny, and she throws it before Jenny even reads it. When Jenny finds out, she teams up with Penelope, Hazel, and Isabel, Blair's minions, to humiliate Vanessa. Jenny makes Vanessa's dress see-through, and the others make sure the spotlight show on her, and when Nate finds out, he tells Jenny he no longer feels that way, and it's revealed to Jenny, Dan, Serena, and Eric are all half siblings because Lily and Rufus had a son together. And at the end of the season, Blair names her succeeding queen after Blair graduates from Constance. Season 3 begins with her being the queen of Constance. However, Blair isn't happy with the way she's ruling things, so she steps in, resulting in Jenny acting more like Blair. The Humphreys move into the palace once Rufus and Lily get married. Jonathan, Eric's boyfriend, is convinced that Jenny has changed, so they decide to sit at the Met steps, and Jenny asks them to leave, and when they don't, she orders her minions to pour yogurt on them. I may say she didn't want to do that, but she still did it because of pressure, I guess. Jenny starts dating Damien, a drug dealer. They make plans to have sex, but Jenny backs down, realizing she wasn't ready, and they break up. Jenny is outed as a drug dealer to Rufus by a former client of Damien's, and may I add, she was a drug dealer for like 5 minutes. Later in that episode, it's revealed that the medicine that Lily was taking for her cancer isn't as effective, and Chuck, Jenny, Dan, Nate, and Blair work together to figure it out. Unfortunately, Jenny sabotages the plan to make Lily and Rufus break up and get her life back in Brooklyn, but she fails. She takes a photo of Dan and Serena sleeping together, and she's about to send a pic to Gossip Girl when Blair finds out and warns her that no one loves her. What a bitch. Rufus tells her that she should move back to Hudson with her mom, and she makes a horrible mistake of going to the Empire to find Nate, but finds Chuck instead. And both are very vulnerable and lonely. I mean, Chuck had just been rejected by Blair, which, not that I'm defending him or anything, but they have sex, making her lose her virginity to him. She regrets it almost immediately and tells Eric and Dan about what happened, and then pushes Chuck. Again. In season 4, Jenny comes back to New York for an interview, and Blair isn't happy about her being back and gives her a day pass, meaning that as soon as the interview is done, she'll leave and won't return to the city for the rest of the year. Chuck forces her into going to the hotel because he wants to apologize, and she is followed by the minions who report to Blair, leading her to sabotage the interview. And Jenny realizes no one knows exactly why she left and outs herself for sleeping with Chuck, affirming that leaving the city was the best decision she ever took. A few episodes after she comes back, has a request by Vanessa and Juliet to help take over the Upper East Side. They succeed at alienating Serena from Lily, Nate, Dan, and Blair, and she goes back to Hudson. She's later asked by Rufus to come and support Lily. Vanessa, worried about her own reputation, tells him that Jenny was behind Serena's overdose, which Jenny had no knowledge about. She tries to explain, but Rufus doesn't believe Jenny, and she then tells Blair the whole story, and Blair asks her to stay and help, but Jenny refuses. Oh, and may I add that Chuck was the one who planned the interview so he can mess with Blair, because in season 4 they had this whole thing about being on and off and hating each other, and yeah. In season 5, although she makes no appearance, it is revealed that she moved to London to attend Central St. Martin's after graduating high school. And then in season 6, she makes a final appearance in the series finale. She comes to Serena and Dan's wedding, and it's revealed that she has a line at Waldorf Designs named J for Waldorf, and that she knew Dan was a Gossip Girl for a long time, which is BS, but whatever.
You know you love me.
Seeing her entire route on the show, we can tell that her main goal was getting the approval from people, especially from Blair. She didn't want to live in the shadows like Dan, and because of her desperation to become popular, she suffered. Since she wasn't a millionaire like everybody else, she had to make her own clothes. She was used by Blair and her minions due to her being naive, and because of that naivety, she got herself into very horrible situations, such as Chuck Bass assaulting her, which I'm not blaming her in any way. I'm just, I'm not victim blaming. And this is not far from reality. I remember some people in my high school doing anything and begging to become friends with the popular kids, which is sort of pathetic, but I mean, we've all been there. Unfortunately, if I was invited to one of the popular kids party, I was like, oh my god, like I felt flattered. When she finally gets to the top, she starts acting just as her nemesis, Blair. I dare to say even worse, because at least with Blair, that's who she is, you know what to expect. But Jenny felt just fake altogether, because she's kind of acting out of vengeance. Would that be the word that I'm looking for? Maybe, I don't know. It just seems performative, I guess. Like, it's not really who she is. She becomes unrecognizable. Even her friends said so. I think Jonathan and Eric said that back in season 3 or 2, I don't remember. Yes, when she's officially handed the crown, she makes her goal to become different, but that doesn't last thanks to the minions and Blair.
You know you love me.
One of the biggest mistakes that Jenny made was to become friends with Agnes. They met during Jenny's time working for Eleanor, and Agnes was one of the models. Agnes kind of used her by telling her Eleanor was taking advantage of her and underestimated her, which is true. Eleanor was using her, but I don't believe Agnes told Jenny out of the goodness of her heart. They both took advantage of each other, of this friendship. Jenny has the talent and makes the clothes, and Agnes has the contact and is the model. The problem is the lack of work ethic Agnes had that seriously annoyed Jenny, since they would lose opportunities by Agnes being late or simply not showing up. I'm not putting all the blame to Agnes, there's just so much you can do as a teenager. I mean, because I feel like Jenny became too ambitious and maybe even arrogant, and that kind of affected the whole thing. Let's not forget the creep boyfriend photographer pressuring Jenny to take off her shirt for photos. Eventually, Jenny sold her contacts, and as soon as Jenny found out, they ended their partnership. I mean, that friendship slash partnership was bound to, end at some point, and it was bound to not work because, I mean, first of all, they're kids. I'm not saying anyway like kids do not have the work ethic or anything like that, but there's just so much you can do when you're 15, 16 without the help of an adult, a mentor, someone helping you do the things in the right way. They're just, it's destined to be a chaos. Hey guys, this is ASMR because it's 7:30 a.m. and I'm pretty sure my parents are still sleeping, so as always I forgot to mention a few things, so here we go. About Nate, I didn't like them together, and I think it's because it made me uncomfortable Jenny dating Blair's ex-boyfriend while she's sort of trying to live a similar life as a new constant queen, so to me it felt as if she's trying really hard to be Blair and Jenny was just like another girl for Nate. About Blair, I wish that at some point they would have become at least polite to each other, but a girl can only dream. And the thing with Jenny, she never really had any friends. Her only friend was Eric, and he left around season 3, I think, and stopped having that many scenes we had like in earlier seasons, and that wasn't really that big brother that Jenny needed at times. And Vanessa, who was supposed to be her and Dan's friends, quickly dropped her. She was lonely and friendless, so I don't think it's surprising to see the person that she became.
You know you love me.
Newsflash, season 1 of Gossip Girl was the only good, iconic season. The rest are just messy. I rest my case. I think the writers didn't expect the show to become as famous as it did, that they didn't know exactly what to do in future seasons, which is extremely common in the CW shows. I mean, I feel like, I don't know what's up with them, that they just, either they don't have any kind of ambition or trust into their projects, that they only think of a great first season and they don't even think about what will happen if people love the first season and they're supposed to make other seasons, because they all suck. I mean, look at Riverdale, look at Gossip Girl. They all have that thing in common. They have a great season 1 and then they all flop. It's like you're setting yourself up for failure. How can you prepare an amazing season 1 and not think of the fact of the possibility of getting renewed and making a season 2? At least a season 2, you have to have some kind of vision for where you want the show to go to. And Jenny obviously suffered from this. I mean, every character suffered from this, but we're talking about Jenny. When we meet her, she's a very likable character who just wants to fit in and have friends and be popular. She's easy to relate to because that's pretty much every teenager. They want to fit in and have friends. I mean, that's what I wanted to do when I was in high school. That's all I wanted. I wanted to fit in. I did not want to be different. I wanted to, be popular and have friends. Unfortunately, that didn't happen. She looked up to Blair, though that didn't blind her to stand up to her when she was being unreasonable and mean. She was basically the audience, which makes her easy to like. And what I mean by this is that she will react to events the way that we will react, at least in season 1. Most of the things that I'm saying, it's about season 1. She was a character that I was like, okay, yeah, exactly. Thank you, Jenny. Thank you for vocalizing or for reacting the same way that I'm reacting, But she was also incredibly naive, so what happened? Well, the writers happened. They focused so much on the drama that they forgot about their character's journey and arcs. Their main goal was to make her a villain because why not? And help to alienate fans against her, which they succeeded. And Jenny is such a complex character, just like Blair. I mean, she's her nemesis. They have so much things in common. They contrast each other so much. And just because they're so alike, they make her a villain for no real purpose and no actual story arc to make it work.
You know you love me.
I think it's pretty clear that the main reason why people didn't like Jenny was because of Blair. She was her enemy, and since everybody sims for Blair, don't worry, I sim for Blair too. They automatically hate everyone who challenged Blair, like Jenny and Vanessa. I still don't like Vanessa, so I'm not defending her. Jenny becomes both arrogant and very annoying, but that's not enough reason to literally hate her. I mean, they love Chuck, who has assaulted so many women, including Jenny, and even abused Blair. And Blair, who blackmailed literally everyone. But they draw the line at Jenny for being annoying and a bit mean to her dad. It just doesn't make sense. How can I understand a character being incredibly annoying? Jenny is incredibly annoying, I'm not gonna lie, but you hate her so much because she's annoying? Is that it? And you love Chuck so much, who is literally an abuser? I'm sorry if I can't take you seriously. And I'm not hating on you because this was literally me when I watched the show for the first time. I'm hating my own self, my 14-year-old self. So don't worry, don't take this personally. I also forgot to mention in my video about Chuck Bass, I made a point that in season 3, when Chuck and Jenny slept together, if we look back, we can see that the producers were doing everything they could to make Chuck look good and excuse his unexcusable behavior. They did this by shifting the blame from him to Jenny when they slept together, and almost everyone's reaction, to not say everyone's, was fuck Jenny, little Jay's a slut, and blaming her for the situation. But no one battled an eye at Chuck, the abuser who slept with Jenny a few minutes after Blair was late for their meeting at the Empire State Building, where he gave her an ultimatum after training her for a hotel. Since no one liked Jenny, she was the perfect person to make Chuck look less bad. And I know I've mentioned this many times in the video, but I just will never forget this, but her sleeping with her almost rapist.
You know you love me.
I can't talk about Jenny and not mention some of the things allegedly happening behind the scenes that unfortunately affected Jenny in a negative way between Taylor Momsen and Tim Gunn. Tim Gunn is nobody. I actually had no idea who he is, but apparently he's an actor, a fashion consultant. He's known for being one of the mentors to designers on Project Runway. Again, a nobody. Let's first remember, because I feel like people, when they talk about Taylor Momsen, they don't really remember this, or they just simply don't know that she was just 12 years old. She was literally a child when she first appeared on Gossip Girl. A child, alright, who has been working since the age of 2. This is just another case of child actors having their Miley Cyrus Breaking Ball face, which I'm not diminishing at any point. I feel like we glorify and romanticize being a child actor so much. I mean, I literally still hold a little grudge against my parents for not making me a child actor, but after hearing so many stories, I'm like, you know what? Thank you, Mom and Dad, for not pressuring me into being a child actor. Although I could be rich by now, but whatever. Tim Gunn made an appearance on the show, I think it was season 4, and gave his thoughts on working with Taylor. And he doesn't have the nicest things to say, and let's remember, this is a fucking adult, a grown-ass man trashing down on a teenager. She mentions her being a child and not really having an option to think for herself until one day she realizes that she did have control over her life. And the producers eventually wrote her character off, a decision she claims to be lucky for. Whether she had an attitude or a diva behavior, I think it's up to you to either believe or not. I personally don't find hard to believe that she might have had a little attitude, because I remember how I was when I was a teenager. I did have an attitude, and I'm not a millionaire. I was just a simple little teenager having a tantrum. Being, too hormonal and depressed and anything. So I had an attitude, so I don't find hard to believe that she had one. But I don't think that's a reason to hold it against her, because when you're a teenager you go through so many hormonal changes, and you're bound to go through, have a little attitude. Like, it's not rare. However, I don't trust the words of a grown man who's shaming a kid. So I think he's either lying or exaggerating. I mean, how much can you know how Taylor is if you were literally on one episode of Gossip Girl? I don't know how long that episode took to shoot, a week, 2 weeks. So you know her for 1-2 weeks, and you already know that she's a diva. This is how she always acts. Maybe she was not having a nice time, which she didn't have a nice time in Gossip Girl. So like, how can you really know about her? He claimed to talk to the crew, and the crew members saying that, oh yeah, she always behaves like that or whatever. But like, I don't know. I don't believe a grown man talking about a teenager that way. It's just, if you're a teenager who has been working, probably exploited your entire life, and you aren't even enjoying your job, and your passion is somewhere else, I don't know. I can sympathize with her, I guess. I'm glad that at the end she got to pursue her true passion, which is her music career full time. But I'm sad how negatively it affected on Jenny's character arc.
You know you love me.
So in season 1, it's clear that she cares about her family and is even close with her dad. However, in the next season, we see her rebelling because she's literally 15. It's what we do at 15. She starts working towards her future as a fashion designer that Rufus supported. What he didn't support was her skipping school and her being friends with Agnes, which he was totally right not to like her. And even so, he allowed her to be homeschooled. He's even willing to sign the emancipation papers if that's what she really wanted. I agree that Rufus wasn't exactly a number one dad. I never liked Rufus. I actually never liked Humphrey. But he was there for Jenny, maybe not initially, but eventually he was there. He was a supporting father, and I feel like Jenny, after season 1, she did treat her dad not great, which is a shame, because he was there for her. If he wasn't a perfect dad, but he did support her. She's a talented designer, and because of that she becomes arrogant, impatient, and too ambitious, making her believe she deserves opportunities just because she has the talent. And honey, that's not how the world works. You need more than just talent. She goes crazy with realizing her lack of privilege when people get the opportunities she thinks she deserves. I mean, it can be very frustrating to see people getting opportunities that arguably maybe you deserve slightly more than them because of their privilege. But life happens, and unfortunately you don't get opportunities just because you have talent. You need to work hard, pretty hard, and if you don't have the advantage of having connections, you have to work 10 times harder than people do. But that's just how life is. It's unfortunate, but it's just how life is. Doesn't mean that I agree with it, but life is unfair. What are you gonna do? She comes off very bratty and arrogant as the season goes on. Personally, I liked her little confrontations with Blair when it was just about, parties, high school, Nate. But the whole thing about Blair The whole thing about Blair exiling Jenny because she drugged Serena, even though she didn't, it was a stupid and bad writing just to take her out. It was just a wasted potential, in my opinion. She could have been such a great character that if the writers actually cared to give her proper storylines well, if the writers cared about giving Gossip Girl a proper great plot overall, I feel like Gossip Girl would have been way more iconic than it was. Yeah, I don't know where the writers' mind were after season 1 because they were not here. They were nowhere to be found. The thing with Jenny is that the things that were happening behind the scenes with Taylor obviously and unfortunately affected the things on screen. They did Jenny very dirty, and I feel like part of it is because of Taylor Momsen, because she was not happy there, and the writers didn't like her, and instead of giving her an out when she wanted an out, they decided to just, make her suffer, and we suffered as well. I mean, the more I rewatch the show, the more I like her, the more I understand where she's at and where she's coming from. But I just wish the writers cared a little more, and instead of giving excuses and excusing behavior from certain characters and working so hard to give them some redemption arc that they clearly do not deserve, they worked on, screwing up characters that there was no reason to destroy. Again, I feel like she's just a wasted potential. Like, she could have been such a great character in the following seasons, but she wasn't, unfortunately. I think I'm gonna leave my video right here because I feel like my headache is gonna come at some point because I've been talking too much. So I hope you guys enjoyed. I know many people were expecting this video to come out, and I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know what your thoughts are, how you feel about Jenny. I finished the books, the Grisha series, the Shadow and Bones, all the 3 books. And I'm planning my video about Shadow and Bones, the series. I'm just excited to give my thoughts. So excited. So that's coming soon, and I'm also gonna make a video about Elite because season 4 is coming out in like 2-3 weeks, so that's also gonna come soon. And I have no ideas after that, so if there's something that you want me to talk about, let me know. Also, if you have any TV show recommendations or not books recommendation because I have way too many that I have to read, but if you have any TV show recommendations, please let me know. I'm currently watching Parks and Rec. Yeah, finally. And I'm also watching El Inocente, The Innocent, which is a Spanish show. It's on Netflix. It's really good. I'm not making a video about it. I don't feel like making a video about it, so I'm leaving now. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll see you soon. Bye.